Okay, I want to start this off by saying I, for one, love this game. This vid is not being made because I think the game's horrible. More, I think it missed some marks. It could have been so amazing. Before I even started getting background footage, I already had 112 hours in the game. But that's enough of me ranting. Let's get started, shall we? I want to start us off where I think the game is worst, weakest, that kind of stuff, and then move on to what I think it does best. So first, let's talk about the story, or rather more the complete lack thereof. The game technically has three whole story missions. The first story mission is the tutorial. It's about learning about the specialty of your mechs, the time manipulation prediction system that your mech has. The second is getting your mobile base. Calling it a story mission is a stretch and a half. And the final, again, calling this a story mission is a stretch and a half, is the final mission of the campaign where you go to retake the capital. In this mission, you basically survive a wave defense for a cutscene at the very end. Speaking of cutscenes, the game has a total of two. After you complete the tutorial mission, you get to see the first cutscene of you and your crew escaping the country. After that, you don't get another cutscene or any story-related information until you retake the capital. Once you retake the capital, there's a happy-go-lucky cutscene where it talks about little things the country is doing to rebuild and stuff like that. But overall, there's just a complete lack of story. So if that's what you're here for, you're not going to find it. Even the RPG elements are lacking to be able to create your own story. There's no banter from pilot to pilot. They don't say anything as you give them orders. Hell, in a lot of cases, each individual mech has more personality than the pilot that pilots it. Okay, next up, gameplay, which is just such a mixed bag, because outside of combat, it's very XCOM. You build up your mobile base, you equip your boys, you get ready for the next fight. But it's a nice loop. Build up, heal up, and then move on. Outside of combat is a dream, really. I've spent way too long in this mech bay, just deciding what feels right for me and my boys. Combat itself is also fun. It's a turn-based game where you get to watch all your turn play out at once. It's a really fun mechanic. Managing heat, sight lines, preferred engagement ranges. It's got all the good stuff. The issue lies in the loop. While the basics are all good and so much of it's so fun, the gameplay never really evolves past the basics. Every mission is a show up, fight bad guys, leave. Which, yeah, most games of the type are. But the issue is it never changes. The enemy has three factions, if you want to call them that. Experimental, Spec Ops, and then your regular army. Which sounds cool, right? Issue is other than minor cosmetic differences, other than that, they may have one special weapon or one piece of armor. Other than that, each faction is identical. No special gameplay mechanic, no personality, no identity. They're all just bad guys to be put down to earn more loot. The loop is there, the basics are ready, but there just isn't more. It feels like there's so much potential just left at the door. Then there's the bosses. There's three of them, but they all play pretty much the same. Dodge missile, kill missile, have a better time. They drop some unique loot, some of which is worth the fight, so much more is not. They were neat at the start, but when you have to kill one per every province, they all blend together. Next up, music and sounds. The music is amazing. It fits so wonderfully. This constant, upbeat, fighting for something more than yourself kind of vibe. It's not the constant, over-the-top heavy metal that comes all so often from mech games and their fandoms. I am guilty of this myself. It's just a nice variety, several upbeat songs that are just nice to listen to. I had it open the whole time I was making this script. It was really pleasant. Soundscape, though, is something else in its entirety, in such a good way. It does the game injustice to talk about one weapon or one sound at a time. It's a sea of sound. The stomping of heavies, the sound of jump jets, gunfire. Individually, I don't think any sound is perfect, but they don't have to be. They blend together to make a battlefield. Make something whole is wonderful. Which I think is made better by the way the turn-based plays out in real time. The sounds blend so well in those 5 seconds you have. Going from nothing but you and the music to a whole board of sounds makes the real-time playout so much more bunchier. Bonus rounds, because I know someone would say something about it if I didn't. But yes, the game is highly moddable. It's one of the biggest things the devs set out to do. At this point, I have a small set of mods I wouldn't play without. But that being said, just because your game is highly moddable doesn't fix the issues it already has. Yes, I am looking at you, Bethesda. So to summarize, I don't think Phantom Brigade is a bad game. Not in the slightest. I just think it came out half-baked. That there's still so much potential left and the devs can do so much more. They've already proven that they can do the hard parts and make a fun loop. They seem to be working hard to prove everyone right, too. The game is getting consistent updates. They may be few and far between, but they seem to be working on a schedule and fixing things. Last one was the bosses, and right now they're working on making pilots better. Without a doubt, I think the game is going to get better. You can see that by the return of the mods. People are interested in the game, and I, for one, want to see what things will be when we're all said and done. Alright, I know this is my first fit of this style. I'm just trying out some new things. If you don't mind telling me below what y'all liked, what could be better, or even just some cool things you've seen and enjoyed in game, feel free. But until next time, this is Noble, signing off.